What's up, everybody? It's me, your boy 10, sitting in my favorite spot, reviewing another film. Gosh, it's been a long time. I told myself I was going to try to do a upload once a month, and I failed miserably. Sorry. I'm trying to clean this darn thing. Clean. That's a little better. So this is a review of Candyman from 2021. This will not be a spoiler-free review, so if you have not seen it and you don't want any plot points or anything to be spoiled, do not watch this until you watch it. With that being said, let's just jump right into it because I really want to make this short, sweet, and to the point. Usually I do my reviews, I do like mini reviews on TikTok, but this movie was complex and I have a lot of feelings that I cannot wrap up in 1 to 3 minutes, even 10 minutes. So I'm giving myself 15 to 20 minutes to really just talk about the film. So Candyman came out in 2021. It is obviously a reboot-quel. It's part reboot, part sequel of the Candyman franchise that was very popular in the 90s. Our Candyman was played by Tony Todd, famously so. He is a horror veteran, but he's definitely more well known for those films. And the premise is it stars a couple of different people, and I want to tell you who are the main players. So Yahya Abdul Mateen II plays our lead character, our protagonist, question mark. We also have Tiana Paris is in the film, Nathan Stewart Jarrett, Coleman Domingo, and Vanessa Williams makes a reappearance. She was in the original Candyman as Anthony McCoy's mother. So there are other characters, of course, but those are our main players. So I kind of just want to break this up into a couple of things. So I'm going to talk about a couple of aspects of the film, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, if there was anything I didn't like about it. Excuse me, I've been up since 4:45 this morning. I've been having bad muscle spasms. So I took a bath at like 4:45 this morning. So I've been up for a long time and I'm finally feeling it. But I wanted to do this review while it was fresh on my mind. I didn't want to wait till tomorrow because I was afraid I was going to forget certain plot points because I can forget about stuff like that. So let's talk about the casting of the film. I think the casting of the film was really good. I think everyone, for the most part, did a really, really great job. I will say, though, that Yahya Abdul, who I'd seen in Aquaman before, was probably the weakest actor in the film. And weakest actor does not mean bad. It just means he was acting besides some really talented actors like Coleman Domingo. Every time he was on screen, I could not rip my eyes away from him. Tiana Paris was brilliant as well. She's a phenomenal actor. Obviously, Vanessa Williams had a small role, but still she can act the house down. So it was hard. He is a new-ish actor in that he really started popping off in like 2016. So he's still got a lot of, growing to do. And he's not a bad actor by any means. He was quite good, but he was the weakest of the bunch. With that being said, I really liked Anthony McCoy, the character that he played. He plays a struggling artist who is dating Tiana Paris's character, who is a very successful art curator. And he starts working on a piece about Candyman. And through working on this piece, he realizes quickly that he is fulfilling some sort of prophecy in terms to Candyman. So it's funny because if I stop saying the name of the movie, it's because I'm superstitious and I've already said it like 3 or 4 times. So I'm not going to say it anymore because I'm superstitious. And even though I'm not like trying to summon anything, I'm just superstitious. So, but I'm going to do a review about this film. So that's the loose premise of the film. Let's talk about what I liked about it. The performances, like I said, were really good. I really loved the cinematography. It was beautiful cinematography. I loved the little paper puppet things that they did to show like scenes from the past films. I really, really enjoyed that. I thought it was beautiful. I really liked how they were able to bring characters from the original film back. Let it be known I've never seen the original film, but I know I've seen enough reviews around Candyman. I've read enough articles and like know all the history about the film. So I still think that and know a lot about like the conversations they had about race in the film at that time. So I still think I'm qualified to talk about this. But it was great seeing seeing them come back. And Tony Todd's appearance, it's very, very small, but it was still like, oh my God, that's Tony Todd. This is the character he is known for. And Tony Todd is a phenomenal actor. Like, he's a horror icon, but that aside, he's just a fantastic actor. He brings such like nuance to every character he plays, even if the character is just like a really small part. When Tony Todd is on the screen, you pay attention, and that's just like a gift. And so I really liked the music as well. All the characters for the most part were really cool. I would say it was a very diverse film in that we have some queer representation. We have a strong female lead character. We have multiple brown and dark-skinned people in leading roles, which is like, what? Love that. And lots of great conversations were being had as well. What I didn't like about the film is something that, honestly, I guess it's on a smaller scale, but the pacing of the film really bothered me. There were moments where I feel like things weren't cohesive. Some of the cuts from, like, when Anthony is having, like, a hallucination, some of the cuts were it was just very sudden. And I guess it's supposed to be sudden because, it's freaking him out and it's happening, randomly. But some of the transitions were just really rough. And I didn't know if that was like a personal choice from the director, DaCosta, or if, some stuff just got left on the cutting room floor. They couldn't put everything in there and it shows. I don't know, but I didn't like some of the pacing. Like I said, for the most part, the performances are really good. But as I mentioned before, Yaya, he's really sharing the screen with some really, really talented Black actors. And so there were moments where his performance fell flat for me. And there were moments where I found myself drifting away because um, it would get, I don't want to say boring. It wasn't interesting at certain points, which surprised me because I thought it was going to have my attention the whole time. But there were many points where I drifted off into my own head. But I will say that there were great parts that were really gripping. I love this idea that Candyman is like a lore. Um, it's like he brings people into the fold so that there's multiple of him. It's not just Daniel. There's multiple of them being created due to violence perpetuated by um, white people and in the name of white supremacy. So I really, really love that idea. I thought that was really cool. Um, I didn't love the ending. Um, I feel like there was some stuff missing. I feel like that ending was kind of just, eh. They gave us the ending like that to give us our TT, Tony Todd cameo, which is awesome. Like, but I don't know. It seemed like the last 20 minutes just went by so quickly. I also feel that VEW, Vanessa Stell Williams, was um, criminally underutilized. She's very talented. And I wish I would have seen a little bit more of her, but her performance was quite good. Um, the writing, for the most part, was really good. Um, for the most part, but then there were moments where I'm just like, what? um, so let's talk about the main thing, and I think it's the social and political commentary of the film. So the overall arcing arch of the film is commentary on police brutality and violence against Black bodies, gentrification, class, um, and on some level mental illness. Um, those are the 5 things that I think really are central to the film. And we see this displayed in a couple ways. One is that Tiana's character, she is a very successful woman. I don't know, they don't totally get into her background, but I think she came from humble beginnings. But she's she's in this very professional art world. So, and she's very successful. She makes good money. She's popular in her business. Um, and then there's Anthony, who um, grew up pretty poor in the projects. And he's a struggling artist. He's a very talented artist, but he's struggling to find his groove, to be inspired. Um, so here are 2 people in a relationship. They love each other, but they represent 2 different Black experiences, and that is something that I thought was really well done. So it's shown in that way. He is lower class in a way as compared to her, and that does come into play at certain points in the film. It's also shown by the conversations of gentrification that are had throughout the film. This is political commentary that is in your face. There's the idea of CM being an entity is just a vehicle for the conversation of police brutality against Black bodies, specifically Black men. So I guess whenever a movie comes out like this, especially when Jordan Peele's name is attached to it in any way, I always want to ask myself three things. What is it saying? How do they say it? And did they bring something new to the conversation? So simple version, what are they saying? That the violence that is created from violence is dangerous. How they say it through this idea that CM is something that is created based off of these wrongs that are done in terms of like police brutality and racism and white supremacy. And then the third one, which is where a lot of films like this fail, is are they bringing something new to the table? And that's where I think they lose me. Because the conversations that were being had are conversations that we've seen before. I don't know, really, truly, if they brought anything new to the conversation. It was just the same stuff that I know as a Black person. But I also recognize that sometimes these films aren't meant to educate me. They're meant to educate non-Black people. And so it's written and presented that way. So it may not have been anything new for me, but for someone who's like very in their own like white existence who doesn't know about this type of stuff, it's probably like mind blowing. So although I really enjoyed the film, I'm just not sure it brings anything really important to the table in terms of this conversation on police brutality. With that being said, I think that I was watching Queer for Fear, and then I watched Horror Noir, which is a documentary about Black horror, Black people in horror. And they talked about how, although Candyman is a great film, they talked about how, the original, they talked about how it perpetuates the myth of the brute Black man going after the white woman, the pretty blonde white woman. They completely subvert this trope in this film. Anthony has no interest in making any white woman his victim. There's no obsession with whiteness. None of that. So that was a great change of pace for this series. And so I really appreciated that. So it definitely is presented in a different lens. So I'm veering off. I'm very tired. So I'm going to end by saying this. I really enjoyed Candyman, and I think that Jordan Peele is very talented. I think DaCosta, who also co-wrote and directed this, is very talented. But I think that I expected a lot more than what I got. And I think I'm a little disappointed because, like I said, I'm not sure it added anything vital to this conversation of police brutality, of violence against Black bodies, of gentrification, of classism. I just feel like they just like, with a lot of these films, they just like scratch the surface instead of really going deep. I would have loved to see more conversations on intersectionality as well. I think I would have liked to see more of an origin story about Anthony as well. I want to know more about him, how he grew up, what his life was like. I think I could have connected with him better as well, and honestly, with a lot of the characters, I felt that with our two main characters, which are Tiana's character and then Yaya's main character of Anthony. So at the end of these, I like to give it a rating, and so if we were doing from an A to F scale, A being, oh my God, so amazing. F being, oh my God, I hate it. This is definitely a B plus. And I would have given it an A if it had felt fresh and reignited this conversation instead of a retread of the conversation. And then from a 1 to 5 scale, I would give it a solid 3.7, 3.7 to 3.8 out of 5, which is not a bad score. I do recommend, if you are non-Black, to watch the film, and because it's very educational. It's presented in a way that I think is for people who don't understand these concepts, who are non-Black people who don't understand these concepts, or who don't really get the full picture. And horror is a great way to talk about these things and learn about these things. Yeah, so that's my review. I said there would be spoilers, but I always still try to not say too much about the plot, like who dies, who doesn't die. So I'm going to avoid that. Any trigger warnings, violence, gore, police brutality, anti-Blackness, gentrification, classism, demonization. No, I wouldn't even say demonization. Use of ableist terms like crazy and psychotic. So be aware of that. Other than that, I think it was a pretty good film. And I'm even considering watching it again because I'm hoping maybe if I watch it again at a later date, I might get something else that I was missing in the first watch. So with that being said, my throat hurts. I'm going to end this video and I'm going to close this computer, fill up my water, and go to bed because I'm tired. I don't even know if I have the strength to like brush my teeth tonight, and I really should be brushing my teeth every night. But we'll see. Check out my nails. Got acrylics for the first time. They're awesome. I love them. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. It has been your boy 10, aka Tess Reacts. 10 is Sanisuha Kaja Reacts, aka Fun Boy Sings or something. So many AKAs. Hope you have a great night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and good night.